Good morning, everybody. This is Michael Beatonball with Preservation South Carolina, and I'm posting this little video to give you a heads up that I'm going to do a live feed this afternoon with some very important news, hopefully very positive news about a emergency intervention that we're doing and working on in Abbeville, South Carolina. I am now on the road in Greenwood County headed toward Abbeville, and it's I was going to be headed to Beaufort, and to all the folks down in Beaufort that are going to be at the meeting at 10 o'clock, I am so sorry I couldn't make it, but this issue really hit development on Friday morning, and so I'm headed to Abbeville today. A lot of good people are going to be involved, and the community is coming together for this. So stand by for some news and some updates, and hopefully some goals that will have to be met to save something that is very important. Take care. We'll talk to you this afternoon. Hello, everybody. It's Mike again at Preserve SC, and we have had a very productive morning here in Abbeville, South Carolina. And where I am standing now is on the CSX tracks, and behind me is the magnificent Abbeville Depot, which was scheduled for demolition by CSX. And on Friday morning, CSX contacted us and said they would be willing to work with us on if we can get organized the ability to move it. So today we had members of the Abbeville Historic Society, Bill Rogers and Andrew with the Historic Society, and the town, as well as Michael Blake from Wolf Movers. The Wolf, if you remember, was the group that moved the Wilkins house in Greenville, and Mike dropped everything to come down here and take a look at it, to look at the feasibility, and it is feasible, can be moved, and right now we're going to look and see where it's going to be moved to. But we look forward to working with CSX on finding a solution for this depot. It is a magnificent building with a lot of the intact area. The one thing though, even though it's brick, it's not solid masonry brick structure. It's wood framed with a brick veneer. But all of that will be moved at the same time because it has wonderful features. And we'll have photographs of the depot and showing it on another post. So that's why we stopped everything to come up here for. It's going to be a hard lot to move this thing, but it's worth it. And we look forward to reaching out to the community to see what resources that can be delivered to it. So until next time, place, purpose, and preservation. Take care. Good morning. This is Mike Beatonball with Preservation South Carolina. And the reason I am posting this early is because I got a phone call this morning at 4:45 from Andrew, who's part of the Historic Society here in Abbeville, who had heard through the grapevine that the demolition crew that had been ordered to tear down the depot in Abbeville, had not been told to cease the operations. So they brought in the equipment. I went ahead and just parked my car right there in between, and hopefully to keep it from moving, and we'll see what happens. Nobody's here yet. Supposedly it's supposed to start at 7. At the time of this it is 6:20, and let's see what the day brings. More later. How you doing, sir?
Good, how you doing?
Mike Beatonball, Preservation South Carolina. So what is on your list of things today? What?
We filed the DSHAP citation.
On Friday, Marco Miller,
Yep.
with CSX,
Yep.
communicated to to us that he was going to not do it, and he had delegated a Catherine Atkins to be the lead and all of that. And yesterday we had a house move. We already started our committee. I reported that to him. I sent him when I heard all of this, because you know, big corporations that take a while to down. So we're just trying to get in touch with him to confirm for y'all what he told me Friday, that they weren't going to do it tomorrow. Okay. 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 Well, I called him. I called at 6, and he texted back a little late that I'm on the phone. I'll call you shortly.
And they don't have a permit, and we met with the city manager yesterday at 10 a.m.
Pardon?
They don't have a demolition permit.
With the town.
Oh, okay.
So that's a town.
Yeah, we have EPA.
Gotcha. That's what I figured, because of the federal oversight and everything.
We're federal and EPA.
Thank you. So we'll just hang tight. Thanks. We are here at Abbeville Depot, and it looks like built in 1890, and it looks like the folks at CSX who promised us they would help us has reneged, and they refuse to let us try to save the depot. Here, I want to give this to...
Well, this is Bill Rogers, and we just told within an hour. An hour ago that we could leave, that they were going to save it, that it was all a lie.
Here's how we got here. And it infuriates us that this is the outcome of it. The first time Preservation South Carolina found out about the potential of this thing happening was just in the past week or so, with work from the Abbeville County Historic Foundation, who requested us to be involved. It took us 2 weeks to get in touch with Mr. Marco Millich, who was in charge of facilities, I guess. He finally returned my call after 2 weeks of trying to get in touch with him, and he was very accommodating on the phone, and he told me, I'll put a lady named Catherine Atkins in charge and coordinate through her. Well, I left her a message. I did that last Friday morning. I left her 2 messages on the phone Friday. I left her messages Monday. On Monday, we met with a house mover. I met with property owners. We had a committee ready to try to pull this thing together. And the first time I hear from Catherine Atkins was this morning on a conference call with Mr. Millich, basically stating to me that not only was it costing CSX to have their crew here, but they were going to start demoing, but they could hold off if we had $50,000 to give them to hold as an escrow account in case we don't raise the money, since we don't have the money. This building is perfectly good. It is not causing any problems over here on the site, and they refuse to give us more than a couple hours to raise the $300,000 it was going to take to do it. What even infuriated me more was her insinuation that, well, why weren't you people doing more sooner? Fact of the matter is, this community has been caring about this depot forever. This community and the people in this community and the Historic Foundation and the Historic Society has been wanting to save this, but because people give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and because no orders have been given publicly, they hope to have a relationship to be able to do something. There's no need to move it if CSX ends up wanting to keep it. Well, the decision finally came down and the orders came down to demolish, and that's what engaged everybody to pull this off and to start trying to save it. And we sat our first committee meeting yesterday, and this is the type of things we get.
Plus, they lied to us. They told us to leave. They weren't tearing it down.
Yeah. We stopped this morning when we got here. They said, we're not tearing it down, and we left. And when we left, the order came to tear it down. If I'd have known that, I would have never moved my car from the place, and we would have risked handcuffs to do it, to save it, because it can be. And to assume that these communities that are working hard as they can just to make a living and to exist has an obligation to CSX, when CSX is the one making income off of these communities, and CSX as a corporation has an obligation to know what these communities need, because they are serving these communities. These communities are more than just something they can drive their trains 40 miles an hour through without any sense of... All right, so I got a phone call and it cut off the last one in my soliloquy about the responsibility of corporations that utilize our communities. Mrs. Catherine Atkins did call back, and she offered something that was very appreciative, which was working with Preservation South Carolina on any other depots that they have that are slated for demolition, to let us know about them, so that we can try to engage the communities to figure out how to try to save them and try to get them moved if the communities want them. Let's hope we can have another more productive relationship on future ones. It does not move us away from our angry reaction to how this one was handled, but we're going to move forward on the others and save what we can. So until next time, place, purpose, and preservation.